Hello everybody, my name is NCS7 and I know lately I haven't been doing many of these video style reviews and I do apologize for that. It's mainly because I've been putting more into my other content like my DDLC mods, but I am going to try and keep these going out on a more consistent basis. So lately I've been playing a lot of Katamari Damacy Reroll as I finally got the game the other day, and while playing I was thinking, you know what, this game's actually quite fun, let's make a video on it. So yeah, let's get into this video and talk about why Katamari Damacy Reroll is goated. And yes, I am specifically talking about Reroll, not the original PS2 game, though from what I know, both versions are almost the same, so I am going to mention the game as Katamari Damacy and leave out the Reroll, but keep in mind, the version of the game I played is the Reroll version that I played on the Nintendo Switch, so yeah, just keep that in mind. But with that being said, let's just get right into it. To touch on a little history of the game, Katamari Damacy was being designed by Keita Takahashi, and was basically formed when he was working on various smaller projects, the first one being about a girl traveling to different islands through power lines, and another involving pushing a huge ball into a goal, with both of these eventually coming together and forming the ideas that would eventually create Katamari. The game would then start development in 2001, with development lasting roughly 2 years until the game would finally release in 2004 on the PlayStation 2, where it became a commercial success, which would lead to multiple sequels, and eventually in 2018 a remake called Katamari Damacy Reroll would also release on all major platforms. And as for the unused content in both the original version of the game and the remake, some songs were cut in the original game that came from another one of Namco's games, that being Netsuchu Pro Yakyu, I hope I pronounced that right, and in Reroll, a model of a camera, though sadly not much is really present in these games in terms of unused material that's really that interesting, so yeah, sorry to disappoint. But now that I've given you a little bit of a history on the game, let's finally dissect the game and discover how amazing this game truly is. Now, I can't talk about Katamari Damacy without mentioning the elephant in the room, the art style for the game, and how good it looks. Obviously, the game's art style is very distinct from other games, with the game consisting of many basic 3D models and going for a simple, weird, yet silly look. But I really like it. Character designs are really good, as the prince's design looks good, and the king's design is amazing. I mean, just look at this beauty. And the game just looks really good in general. Stuff like the intro and ending cutscenes just show the weirdness of the game, while still looking good, and it's just really good. The style they were able to achieve here is amazing, and even the PS2 game holds up extremely well after all these years. The game also runs extremely well regardless of what platform you play on, regardless of how ridiculous it gets in the game, it runs very consistently. And I mean, yeah, I'd pretty much be repeating myself if I kept talking about the style. I mean, you all can see the game and know how good it looks, so yeah, let's just leave it at that. Game looks really, really good. Now it's time to talk about the gameplay, and the gameplay of Katamari is pretty simple. You play as the prince, and it's your job to use your Katamari, which is basically this big ball thing, to roll up as many things as you can on Earth in order to repair the sky, as the king accidentally destroys the moon as well as all the other stars in the sky. And so, as the responsible individual that he is, he sends his own son, the prince, to Earth to collect as much stuff to use for these stars. So yeah, you pretty much get dropped into a level where you roll as big of a Katamari as you can. You can't roll anything bigger than it, and if you run into things, the size will decrease, and it gives you a time limit to do whatever you need to do. The game is split into two different kinds of levels. The first ones are the make a star levels, where you basically just need to make a Katamari of a specific size, and then the constellation levels, where you need to roll specific things in the level in order to succeed. For like crabs, for instance, or maidens as well as one of the later ones. Yeah, this game is really silly, but let me tell you, you can roll a lot of things in this game. At first, it's kind of annoying as many things are just bigger than you, and you really have to be picky rolling the smaller things like thumbtacks or small cards. But once you start increasing size, you can eventually get to the point where you can roll over way bigger things, like you can roll over people and even buildings, and they make for some of the funniest things ever, especially the noises that humans make. And in some areas and missions, you can make these absolute monstrosities of Katamari. Some levels also have a present that you can collect that can give you a unique cosmetic item to wear. And that's pretty much the game, and I gotta say, it's really fun. It is so satisfying to get enough size to finally roll over the big items, and it's fun to traverse these levels and cause just pure chaos. The game controls in a very unique way as well, as you use both of the thumbsticks on the controller to push the Katamari, making it feel more natural, as though you're pushing the Katamari yourself. However, while I listed a lot of things I like, I do have some complaints. For one, while the game's controls are good and very unique, the game can honestly feel very slippery, as sometimes you can just go way more fast than I really want to, and it just feels like you just slip and slide all over the place, and this can lead you to bouncing into things that will ultimately decrease your size. The camera is also not the greatest, as turning the camera to see something can be quite annoying, since when you're turning the camera, you're also changing your direction, which is annoying. There's a jump you can do to see things around you, but I personally never really found it too useful. Also, sometimes when you're in smaller areas, like when you make a big enough Katamari in the house level, the camera can be quite weird. Also, the collision can be very wonky, especially when you get bigger, as sometimes you won't be able to go back to previous places when you're too big, because there just might be items that you just can't roll up that just kind of block you out, which causes you to lose your size, which isn't a huge deal, but it's just kind of annoying. Also, the game can be kind of weird with what you can roll, as sometimes I feel that things I can't roll aren't even that much bigger than my Katamari, which also annoys me. And lastly, there isn't a lot of variety in the areas in the game, though this isn't too big of an issue for me personally. Okay, sorry, I know I've been a bit negative there, but look, I do really like this game. No other game when this release had similar gameplay and had such a similar style, making Katamari much more unique. And while the game is a lot of fun and offers great replay value through a multiplayer mode I never played, as well as trying to get better scores on levels, there are things that do hold it back from being truly perfect. But overall, great gameplay with some flaws sprinkled in there. Another big aspect of this game is also its music, as it's so memorable. And while I wouldn't say this game has one of my favorite game soundtracks ever, the music here is so good, mostly because the music kind of just goes for whatever it wants, and even though the music on paper wouldn't really fit in this game, I think it actually fits really well. My personal favorites are the Nas on the file select screen, Walking on a Star, Fugue 7777, I think that's what it's called, K Sarah Sarah, and Lonely Rolling Star, just to name some. If you haven't played the game before, I at least really recommend listening to the soundtrack on YouTube, as this game's soundtrack really is something truly special and different. So to conclude, and in case you couldn't figure it out yet, I really like Katamari Damacy. It definitely isn't perfect as I've outlined before, but the uniqueness, style, and general gameplay are all really good. The game looks really solid, and the music in the game is also really iconic. It's no surprise to me that this game did so well and spanned multiple sequels, and hopefully someday I can get to those games, but for me, Katamari Damacy is a game that I think everyone should play, with it being one of the most memorable games of the 21st century. Please go and play it, whichever version you can. But that's it from me. Let me know what you guys think of this game in the comments below and if you've played it. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, consider hitting the like button and maybe subscribing and checking out my other content. I do apologize that this video was a bit on the shorter side, but there just wasn't a lot I could really think of regarding this game, but I still wanted to talk about it, so yeah. I'll have more of these coming out and eventually soon on a better basis. I'm not scripting this part at all, but I'll try to get more of these essay review video style videos out on a more consistent basis. Don't worry, I'll try and do what I can on that, but anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out and take care, everybody.